I think it's important to remember that we are voting for the leader of our country and not who we like the most or who we want in our wedding party, but who is actually going to make our country better. And we're in an incredibly unique situation where we've had both of the candidates in office before, and we've gotten to see what they would do. And when facts come to facts, my life was better when Trump was in office. The economy was higher, inflation was lower, things were better overall. And now with Kamala's administration, things haven't been so fantastic. And she's saying she can fix the problems that her administration has caused, but I just don't know if I can afford to take that risk.
Were you leaning towards the former president coming into the night?
Probably.
So today we have yet another case study of someone on CNN actually being willing to tell the truth, be objective, and wait for it, criticize Kamala Harris. And to be clear, I don't understand how or why this is happening. I don't know why CNN sometimes does this, because we know they didn't really do this before, right? But all of a sudden it's like, hey, look, we're objective or something. I don't know. We'll talk about it more in a second. But the point here is this. Despite all of the constant propaganda you've heard since the debate about how Kamala Harris won emphatically and now she's going to win the election and blah, 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 this and that, Jake Tapper had a little bit different and maybe a little bit surprising of a take on Kamala Harris's performance last night. So folks, if you enjoy the content, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and take a listen.
Vice President Harris began the debate by punting the first question on the economy.
Do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle-class kid, and I am actually the only person on this stage who has a plan that is about lifting up the middle class and working people of America.
It went on from there. Despite the economy being the #1 issue facing the country, the sitting vice president generally reverted to talking points about a few of her policy proposals. Even Harris allies today are saying that she needs to talk more about what she will do for Americans if elected. Yeah. Senator Bernie Sanders will be here in a second to talk about more about the need for her to fill in some of those blanks. On the border, another vulnerable issue for Harris, she also dodged.
Would you have done anything differently from President Biden on this?
So I'm the only person on this stage who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings.
Okay, that wasn't the question. When asked how she would break through the Israel-Hamas war stalemate, Harris said this.
We need a ceasefire deal and we need the hostages out. And so we will continue to work around the clock on that.
Okay, but again, how?
Now, look, this is obviously just true. It is objectively true. I would not call this some type of pro-Trump media coverage. It's a simple fact that while Kamala said a lot last night, she didn't really say anything in regards to what she was going to do, what her plans were, right? All you heard were platitudes, talking points, pre-rehearsed lines about how, what are you going to do about the economy? Well, look, I was raised as a middle-class kid. It's like, okay, what? And perhaps this is part of the reason why even CNN's own poll that ran around claiming that Kamala Harris won the debate. Check this out. Who would better handle the economy of debate watchers? So before the debate, Kamala Harris was already way down. You can see 37% said her, 53% said Trump would be better at the economy. But after the debate that CNN is alleging that Kamala Harris won so emphatically, you can see here she is down to 35%. Donald Trump is up to 55%, right? So, obviously, I don't think anyone can dispute this. So that's not the concern for Jake Tapper, is how could he say that, or I'm so surprised. What surprises me is the fact that CNN or Jake Tapper were willing to say anything in response to this debate that was common sense, right? That was mildly critical of Kamala Harris. But maybe we shouldn't be so surprised, because lately, this is not the first time that CNN has torn into Kamala Harris for something and borderline exposed her for refusing to be clear about her policy positions.
Tonight, Kamala Harris releasing details of her policy positions for the first time on her campaign website. A KFile investigation has uncovered, meantime, a 2019 questionnaire. And in this questionnaire, Harris laid out some much more liberal stances, among them on immigration. So in 2019, in what KFile found, she said she would cut funding to ICE, writing, quote, Our immigrant detention system is out of control, and I believe we must end the unfair incarceration of thousands of individuals, families, and children. I was one of the first senators after President Trump was elected to advocate for a decrease in funding to ICE. Well, now, of course, she's touting the Biden administration's executive order to crack down on the border. KFiles' Andrew Kaczynski joins me now. Andrew, that's pretty incredible on its own when you're talking about what you found here on ICE. What else did you find?
Yeah, and this was a questionnaire that she filled out for the ACLU, and this questionnaire is really an interesting snapshot in time of that 2019 Democratic primary. Kamala Harris was trying to get to the left of Bernie Sanders. She was trying to get to the left of Elizabeth Warren, and you really see that in a lot of these answers, and I want to walk our viewers through a little bit of what she said. Let's just take immigration and look at what she said here. She said on immigration...
Oh, by the way, there it is right there, okay? Because I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly, Trump actually brought this up last night in the debate, and I think Kamala was insinuating he was crazy. What are you talking about? You're lying. Okay, so again, this aired on CNN, by the way. Kamala Harris, 2019 campaign positions. You see point number 2 there? Taxpayer-funded gender care and transition surgery for detained migrants, aka illegal immigrants. Okay, so that obviously, it's like, how much woker can you get than that? Not only are we allowing open borders and illegal immigration, but we're also giving them free transition surgeries as a big welcome to America, right? But again, besides the fact that it just sounds absolutely insane when you say it out loud, just pointing that out so that way we can be clear. Yes, this is a real policy position that Kamala Harris supported. Trump was not lying when he said it last night.
She made this open-ended pledge to end immigrant detention. She said she supported taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries for detained migrants. She also said she supported
taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries for detained migrants. She actually said she supported that.
She both wrote and answered in the affirmative when she was asked this. Oh. And she said she also supported it for federal prisoners. Now, she also pledged to slash
federal prisoners too. Okay. Oh, Trump was just making stuff up about her last night. No, this is what she said in the ACLU pledge. And as you heard there, it wasn't just that she was asked about it. What do you think about it? And kind of like cornered into supporting it. No, she like willingly said that she supports this. Okay, so we're not crazy. We're not lying. We're not making things up. This is a real thing that Kamala Harris really wanted to do in 2019.
Immigration detention by 50%, close all family and private facilities, and decrease funding for ICE, and then the end ICE detainers with local law enforcement.
And now what is her answer on immigration? She says she's going to be tough on the border, right? These are all past policies that she supported. Some of it she even introduced bills for. And now what does she say? Well, you can prove that I'm going to be tough on immigration because look at my past record, right? She always says this line where it's like, I prosecuted the transnational drug cartels and traffickers. Okay, if your proof for immigration is your past record, you just saw it on the screen right there. That is the past record of Kamala Harris, okay? If that's what, look, I'm the only one who's done it. Yeah, you're right. You are the only one who, in this race especially, who has supported, for instance, closing down all the immigration centers and taxpayer-funded transition surgeries for the illegal immigrants. Yeah, that's true. You're the only one in this race. That's true. That's true.
I mean, these are things that, it would be hard to think that you would come up with taxpayer funding gender transitions for detained migrants. And yet this, as you say, written and verbally. What else, did you find?
Well, let's take a look at her answer here on drugs. She got asked about, the question from the ACLU was, since drug use is better addressed as a public health issue through treatment and other programming, will you support the decriminalization at the federal level of all drug possession for personal use? And Harris answers yes. Now, what would that mean? Well, it mean the federal all drug possession. That's not just marijuana, which she alluded to in her answer to this question, but it also would mean
it's federal level of all drug possession,
fentanyl, crack, cocaine, things like that. Yeah.
Have they responded to you on her changes on these issues?
So we did put this question to the Harris campaign about the entire ACLU questionnaire, and the Harris campaign didn't answer any questions from CNN. Instead, they just provided a statement from an unnamed Harris campaign advisor that just said the vice president's positions have been shaped by 3 years of effective governance as part of the Biden-Harris administration. Now, they declined.
Okay, but hold on. Okay, first of all, 3 years of effective governance, that's funny enough in itself. But even then, she said in the CNN interview on this very network, they asked her about some of the flip-flopping. She said, my values have not changed. Okay? So that directly contradicts this statement who says, no, don't worry about what she said in the past. Her positions have been shaped by the 3 years of the past governance of being in the Biden administration. So which one is it? Has she always stood for the same things all her life, or are her positions shaped by this? Okay, because you want to say your values didn't change. She was for open borders. Let's just say it. That's the value she has had for the past several years. So I don't know. Which one is it again?
To CNN to elaborate on what those positions were. And then they also provided this statement, which they attributed to a spokesperson saying, as president, she will take that same pragmatic approach, focusing on common sense solutions for the sake of progress. So where does she stand on this, all this questionnaire today? We don't know, and they won't say.
Oh, so I got it. So her values haven't changed, but she's going to support the common sense solution to those issues. Okay, so instead of giving taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries to all of the illegal immigrants that we let over the border, she's only going to give the transition surgeries to some of the illegal immigrants, maybe like 25% that we allow over the border. That's what that means. Okay, that's what that means. When you say your values haven't changed, but you want common sense approaches, that means like, yeah, I'm not going to ban fracking outright, but I'm going to make it a lot harder to frack, and I'm going to basically destroy the fracking industry with regulations, right? That's what that type of stuff means. Just so we understand what you mean when you say, again, my values haven't changed. I'm just trying to be pragmatic about it. Okay, that's the way it is. That's how politics works. Okay, so you can fully expect, given this comment, that Kamala, at the very least, is going to continue the open borders, insane policies of the Biden administration. And we know that because that's what the campaign is signaling themselves. That said, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know why CNN is running segments like this, but it is interesting, right? It's certainly interesting. Let me know your thoughts. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new. And until next time, God bless and peace.